Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you everyone for joining us on this series of lectures on the Adam, the beginning. And today we will try to understand the beginning and the concept of beginning. May Mawla Zaman be with us. May his tawfiq, his taheed, his himmat and yari be upon us, so we may teach and learn and understand the concept of the Adam and the beginning. In the Torah and in the Judaism, and through them in the Bible and in the Christian world, the beginning starts like one day there was nothing, and then God decided to have something. And the concept, in their concept, that it was completely dark, so Allah said, let it be light. And then everything else followed after that. I'm not saying this is a wrong concept, but what I'm saying is their understanding of this concept is not in the right place. Their understanding of this concept is not in the right place. So let's come to Muslim understanding of the beginning. One day, Allah was not doing anything. Maybe he was bored, or he had a new thought. So he acted on that thought that I should create the world and I should create a man to represent me in that world. That is the Muslim concept. And you notice I'm not telling you the full beginning. I'm just putting a concept. Whereas Ismaili concept is the creation is perpetual according to the Imam Farman, without beginning or any ending. Allah is Al-Hayyul Qayyum, ever living and ever present, and all of his creation is ever living and ever present as a whole. As individual, there is a beginning and then there is the end. For example, the day after days and weeks after weeks and month after month, each day begins and each day ends. But as a life, There is no beginning and there's no end of the days. But then if you take the individual life, there is a birth and then there is a death. But as a humanity, there is no beginning or the end. Humanity continues. You see, the concept can be seen in a very limited view or can be seen and understood in a broader view and greater understanding. Ismaili tariqa and Ismaili understanding of the beginning and the ending is like a midnight, where a day ends and a day begins, but in continuation, without a split second gap. There is no gap. It's perpetual, continues. Seemingly, there is a midnight time, but unseemingly, the second hand continues to move. Perpetual, without any beginning or any ending. That is the Ismaili concept. So let's learn in the story form. तो यहां तक आपने देखा कि नजरियात अलग अलग हैं, लेकिन हकीकत और कुछ है। वो नजरियात उनके गलत नहीं है, खाली जहां पर उन्होंने उस नजरियात को बिठाया है, बस वहां पर उनकी समझ में कमी कोताही आई है। और हम एक एक बात को उसकी जगह पर रख कर समझने की कोशिश करेंगे। Alright. So, in this story form, that one day there was nothing, and Allah declared that I want to send a Khalifa on the earth. Therefore, he commanded the angels to go fetch some dirt from the earth. If I would stop here and just explain this part of it, we began the story by saying there was nothing, but in the same line, in the same sentence, we said that there were angels and there was earth, from which angels were commanded to fetch some soil. For those who are thinker, those who read between the lines, can instantly say that this part where we said there was nothing, it does not make a logical sense. And what did Mullah Ali said to us? Our tariqah is a tariqah of intellect and logic. And this part is not accepted by our intellect nor makes logic. Because you cannot say there is nothing and then say there were angels and there was earth, from which angels were supposed to fetch some soil. So what we just did, that we have given you a key, a principle, a logical method for you to start thinking. Every time I would say something, in your heart, in your mind, without saying it loudly, or if you are sitting with your family or friends where you are listening together in a gathering, you can say, oh, this is illogical. My intellect does not accept that. Got it? All right. Remember, we are learning together, you and me. We are learning together. So angels came down to the earth and started to collect the dirt. So Allah may make a human out of it. The dust or the dirt started to cry and said to the angels, don't take me. Your Allah will make a human out of, and the humans will do bad deeds on the earth. And they will shed blood. And they will be enemy of each other. And if I would stop here, now you already know what part of this story which we've been listening to for our entire life is not acceptable by our intellect, and it does not make a logical sense. So what part did not make a logical sense? The angels did not know what is Allah is about to do, but the dust on the earth, not only crying, but speaking and have the knowledge of God, His doing, and the future of the earth and the humanity. I hope you are getting this now. मुझे उम्मीद है कि बत्ती जल गई दिमाग की. The light bulb have gone on in your head. There's something that we had accepted and had listened to our entire life. All of a sudden, our intellect does not want to accept. And logically, it's not making any sense. So the angels return back to Allah. Allah, looking at the angels, asked, puzzled, what happened? How come you did not bring the dirt as I commanded you? So angels inform Allah of the event took place on the earth. If your intellect is accepting that, then there is something to be said about that. If that makes any logic that Allah did not know, but angels had to explain why they did not bring the dirt, as Allah did not know, knows billah. And Allah said, go back, obey my command, bring me some dirt. What I know, you do not know. So angels comes back. This time regardless of how much the dirt cried and screamed. They took the dirt and took it back to Allah. Do you see anything illogical in that? Does your intellectual mind see anything wrong with that? Where Allah is Qadir Mutallaq, one with the command of the kun, where everything happens in the blink of an eye by the Amr kun, had to sit and wait, and he was dependent on the angels to do the right thing. Do you see any logic in that? Does your intellect accept that? So the story goes further. Allah took the dirt and with his two hands added the water and started to mold the statue of Adam, while angels sat around watching him doing what he was doing. What I'm doing right now is I am giving you one question with one event. So tomorrow, meaning in our continuous series, we can take each one of this illogical, not accepted by our intellect question and answer them. But you will have a chance, a food for your thought, and come up with a logical answer. And then we will answer here, and you will match with your answer. And if their answer matches, then congratulations. If it does not match, you will have a chance to go back and review why you thought whatever you thought. So while Allah, with his two hands, created the statue of Adam, adding the water to it, angels sat around watching him. Does that make any sense to you? Does your intellect accept that? And does it make any logic to you? Fifth question. While he was molding the statue of Adam, he would call out to the angels, when I finish molding him, and once I have perfected him, and when I blow my soul into him, then and then only all of you fall in the prostration in the front of him. God which again and again strictly commanded the followers, the mu'mineen, the Muslimin, the believers, do not prostrate to anyone other than me, commanding the angels, preparing them mentally, spiritually, and intellectually to bow down to a statue, a human, Adam, once commanded, once he has blown his soul into him. He's preparing them. On the other hand, a common belief is that the true mu'min, the true Muslim, a true believer cannot and should not and not supposed to bow down to any other thing or a human being or anyone other than Allah Himself. But Allah is preparing and commanding the angels ahead of time to bow down to this statue of matti, of dirt, and submit to him. Question number 6. This process of molding takes or requires 40 days. So Allah says, I created him in 40 mornings. If it took him 40 days to make this statue or Adam, but then he was only working in the mornings. So what was he doing after that? Nozbillah, was he getting tired after molding for a few hours in the morning? So he would take a nap, he would rest, or maybe he would get hungry, Nozbillah, so he would have to go eat or freshen up. What was he doing in the other? Because it says he was molding him for 40 days, but only in the morning. Would your intellect accept that? And would it make any logic to you? That would be question number 6. Let's come to question number 7. As he was molding the Adam or statue of the Adam, where he was telling the angels, but then he added that once I perfect him, and not only perfect him, but make him beautiful, and at the same time when I blow my soul into him. Is that means that initially he created the statue of Adam, which was not perfect and not as beautiful as he wanted it to be. So that was the second and the third step. Meaning, first step, he molded the statue. Second, he perfected him. He made him beautiful. And the last step, he blew his nur into him. Was there 4 steps? process? Have we ever wondered about that? So here the question number 7 was, have we ever wondered about that? And if there is 4-step process, then what is that? What are those 4-step process? All right. Let's come and look at the question number 8. Should be working on this. The Lord, the king, the boss of the boss, or the commander, the banda, the gulam, the angels. If you look at the Anbiya, for example, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, Allah commanded him to build the ship in front of my eyes. How come Allah did not use the same method when he was creating Adam? He could have commanded the angels to create the Adam in front of my eyes. That was your question number 8. Think about that. That in one hand, when he wanted to create something, he commands Hazrat Nuh, his banda, his angelic representative, and ask him to build the boat, but in front of my eyes. I will watch you, I will watch over you, I will guide you, and I will teach you, and you build. Whereas in the case of Adam, he did not use the same logic, where the angels were sitting around and Allah was working himself with his own 2 hands. Do you ever wonder about that? Does it make intellectual sense to you? Does it make logic to you? This was question number 8. Question number 9. So the 40th day finally came, and Allah perfected and made the statue beautiful and blew his nur into him. The question is, how did he blow his soul into Adam? Did he blow on his heart? Did he just stood far back and say, and soul came into Adam? Or did he blow in his ears? How did he blow? Mouth to mouth blowing, that he blew his nur into his mouth and it went into him and he became alive? How did he blow his soul into Adam? That was question number 9 under the subject of, do you ever wonder? How did he do that? Question number 10. When he blew his nur into him, his soul into him, Adam became alive. How old was Adam? Was he like a small baby, like born baby? Was he a child? Was he a young man? Was he wearing clothes? Was he a grown-up buzruk? How old was he? That is your question number 10 under the subject of do you ever wonder? Why did we not ever ask this question before? How did we accept it, the story which was so illogical that intellectual person will never accept? But we did, and we did it for thousands of years. And we still accept this story as is, without asking a single question, without challenging our mind. We are accepting something which is so illogical. So that was our question number 10. How old was Adam? Question number 11. When he commanded the angels to bow down to him or fall in the prostration, if they were in the heavens, on the top of the clouds, where was this even taking place? Because the story goes that Adam was sent to heaven later on. So where was this story taking place? Because we know it was not on the earth, and we know it was not in the heaven, because he was sent to heaven later on. So where was this story taking place? Was it on top of the cloud? So where were they sitting or prostrating? Where was Adam standing? Where he was receiving the prostration? Where was this even taking place? That was your question number 11 under the do you ever wonder? Question number 12. Were all the angels doing shirk? Because prostration is only allowed for Allah and Allah only. Then this will be a shirk. So was Allah asking angels to commit shirk? Would your intellectual being ever accept that? And does it make any logic? Allah himself is commanding, demanding the angels to prostrate to a human, a statue of dirt. Question number 13. But Iblis was not amongst the angels who prostrated to him. Where was he? Where was he? Because in one place it says he was not amongst them. Or in other place it says he did not prostrate. So the question number 13 is, angels, as we understand angels, they do not have free will. They do not have free will to obey or not to obey. If that is the case, how did Iblis refuse to obey the command of Allah? Because refusal comes with a choice to obey or not to obey. And the choice comes with a free will. Angels does not have. Angels does not have free will. Then how did he say no? Do you ever wonder? Have you ever thought about that? Angels do not have free will. Angels have no choice but to follow and obey the command of Allah. But somehow, all of the angels had a choice, and angels chose to submit, and one angel chose not to submit. Question number 14. Allah asked Iblis, what made you not follow my command? Iblis replied, O Allah, Ya Rabb, I accept you and I will only prostrate to you. Wait a minute. Now we wonder. Now we have a question. Maybe Iblis was right and all the angels were wrong. Listen to what he said. Ya Rabb. He was calling Allah his Rabb. He was not kafir. He was calling Allah Rabb. Ya Rabb, I only prostrate to you and no other than you. Now the question comes, and that is question number 14. Then who was right in this situation? Was Iblis right in his not prostrating, or were angels right in the prostration? Who was right? Question number 15. Allah said, this is my command. Submit to Adam. Prostrate to Adam. If you do not, then get away from me. And you will be amongst, underline word, you will be amongst the disbelievers and those who have gone on the wrong path. What do you mean amongst? Were there others? I thought there was nothing there. There were no others. What do you mean amongst the others? Amongst those who have disbelieved. What do you mean by that? Remember, there was nothing. So how did he become amongst the disbelievers? So get away from me. Question number 16. Iblis requested, O my Lord, give me permission to sit on this path so I may deviate the mu'mineen on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And Allah agreed. And probably Allah said, what a great thought. Wow, what an idea. I think that's a good idea. You should sit on Sirat al-Mustaqim and deviate my mu'mineen. But then Allah says, after giving him permission, after he commanded him to get away from him, he said, okay, I give you permission to sit on the Sirat al-Mustaqim near me, but my mu'mineen will never be deviated by you. Those who are my mu'min, you will not be able to deviate them. Those who are my mu'min, they will never listen to you. Was that a good decision on part of Allah? We are not challenging Allah, we are just asking a question. Can you imagine if Allah had not given him permission? We will be free of shaitan today. Nozbillah, nozbillah, nozbillah. Was there a bad decision? But it is a question, not a challenge. Because we are here to learn intellectually and logically. So I believe I will stop here with 16 questions. And believe me, my friends, we are not done with the question. So write down this 16 question and we will answer each of this question. And my hope and prayer is that you will come up with your own answer. And when the answers are given, you will match that with your answer. If it matches, congratulations. If it does not match, then you have a time, opportunity to rethink on the subject. So I'll start with this 16 question, and next time, inshallah, we will answer and ask more questions. Ji.